want to give a shout out to HairCafe for giving me a reason to put him in the grave by responding to my video on him talking about skin health, the best diet for skin health, in a community post where he said that my reasoning against his research was unsubstantiated and that I didn't provide sufficient research of my own. So here is my high effort response to his video on skin health. He says he makes unsubstantiated claims like you don't need any sun protection if you don't consume seed oils. Like no one ever got sunburnt in the history of the world until seed oils became widely used in the 20th century. I didn't say nobody got sunburnt. I said the majority of the damage from the UV is caused by lipid peroxidation in the skin, meaning that the higher the PUFA content of the skin, the more prone to sun damage you are. A study on rats shows the linear relationship between the concentration of polyunsaturated fats in the skin and photocarcinogenesis, suggesting that lipid peroxidation is a major factor contributing to skin cancer and sun damage. In my low effort video, I stated that sun exposure increases collagen turnover, therefore it's good for your skin. The sun is mostly made up of red and infrared light, and in an in vitro study done on human skin cells, it was shown that after 1 week of exposure to low-level red light and infrared light, the gene expression and synthesis of hyaluronic acid, elastin, and collagen proteins increased. Next, he shows a study comparing a vegan collagen supplement to a fish collagen supplement. Although the vegan supplement seemed effective, the fish collagen supplement still was more effective. But let's put supplements aside for now, since this is a diet video. And on an optimal diet, you shouldn't have to supplement anything. You would need to consume 400 grams of raw pumpkin seeds or kilograms of cooked legumes to match the glycine and protein in 500 grams of red meat. And even then, you wouldn't get any hydroxyproline, which is the main peptide in collagen.
A massive problem with consuming meat as your primary source of protein for skin health is the fact that meat contains substances that cancel out any skin health benefits a high-protein diet can give you. What I mean by that is that meat is very high in what is known as advanced glycation end products, also known as AGEs.
If you eat a raw meat diet, you don't have to cook it, so you have very minimal advanced glycation end products. Now let's talk about advanced glycation end products. He states in his community post that even raw animal foods have more advanced glycation end products in them than raw or cooked vegetables. But all of these plant foods have barely any macronutrients that we need to subsist. You have to eat fucking mounds of this shit to live off it. And all of it is mostly made up of fiber, so you would just stuff yourself with indigestible plant matter. And you still wouldn't reach an optimal macronutrient intake, let alone micronutrients. Obviously, there's going to be less of the Maillard reaction occurring in these plant foods when they have barely any protein or nutrients that we need to survive. Not to mention that all of these plant foods are majority made up of starches or carbohydrates, which will cause glycation in the body and endogenous AGE production. And no, it doesn't matter that it's low glycemic index, it'll still raise blood sugar above the baseline, which will cause glycation. Comparing his recommended Mediterranean diet of mostly plant foods which need to be cooked and raw salmon to an exclusively raw meat diet in terms of advanced glycation end products, you would still get similar or even more AGEs on his recommended diet. AGEs aside, your fatty acid profile would be mostly polyunsaturated fatty acids and monounsaturated fatty acids, which will leave you prone to lipid peroxidation and skin damage in the sun.
Here is a study that looked at the skin health benefits of avocados. Avocados contain carotenoids that in animal models have been shown to prevent skin aging. Many other plant-based foods also contain carotenoids, like carrots, sweet potatoes, and green vegetables, as well as squashes, and there are many different types of carotenoids that all have tremendous health benefits, but this study looked specifically at carotenoids and found that avocados were very good for skin health. For example, in this study, there were 39 women who were randomized to eat 1 avocado daily or their normal diet without avocados. The study lasted for 8 weeks.
He shows this study done on avocado consumption in women and skin elasticity and somehow concludes that it was the carotenoids in the avocado that contributed to the skin elasticity improving rather than the monounsaturated fats in the avocado. The study doesn't report on which compound was beneficial in the avocados, it merely shows that adding avocados to these women's diets was beneficial to their skin health. And it is well known that monounsaturated fats are good for your skin health. Beef fat is around 30% monounsaturated fat compared to avocado, which is 10%.
This study compared the effects of flaxseed oil, which is high in omega-3 fatty acids, to safflower oil, which is low in omega-3 fatty acids. This was a small study with just 26 women. However, the flaxseed oil group after just 12 weeks was found to have decreased skin sensitivity to irritation, decreased transepidermal water loss, decreased scaling and roughness, and also increased hydration.
This is another classic example of a study which proves solely the following. In individuals consuming a diet which is not specified and may be deficient in certain aspects and areas, adding the studied food produced measurable improvements in certain aspects of their health. This does not mean or prove a universal benefit to adding flaxseed oil to your diet. For example, if a study was done on starving people where it showed that their health improved after feeding them bread, that doesn't mean that bread is universally a healthy food. All that it means is it improved their health.
Their diets and their skin were both analyzed. Higher the monounsaturated fat intake, the lower the amount of skin aging.
Okay, this is associative. This is epidemiology. This is like if I make a study showing that people who use umbrellas have less fat on their liver. Okay, so what? Literally just means nothing.
That this association
Yep, moving on.
between monounsaturated fat intake and skin health was not seen with monounsaturated fats from animal products like dairy products.
Yeah, cool. It's an association. This one is an even more meaningless study than the last one. This study is a self-reported epidemiological study showing a correlation between intake of monounsaturated fats from plants and reduced skin photoaging, and no correlation with monounsaturated fats from animal sources. But what does this show? Specific people who eat monounsaturated fatty acids from plant sources have a reduced rate of skin photoaging compared to those who eat monounsaturated fatty acids from animal sources or just eat less altogether. You can't, bro, just dog shit studies. Why do you even bring this up? It's literally completely meaningless. Even the title of this study is wrong because an epidemiological study like this can't report on risk or causation. He mentions that participants who consumed the most olive oil had least dramatic instances of skin photoaging, somehow drawing the conclusion that olive oil reduces their risk of skin photoaging. Regardless of the fact that olive oil is high in double bonded linoleic acid, a polyunsaturated fat, which leaves you prone to lipid peroxidation in the sun.
That makes perfect sense, and that's because olive oil is a major component of the Mediterranean diet, which is the diet that is clinically proven to have the best health outcomes.
He claims that the Mediterranean diet is clinically proven to be the healthiest diet for humans, showing a study which takes people off their own diet and puts them onto this one. Again, like the flaxseed oil study, there are infinite confounding variables which aren't accounted for, and it's likely that their diet beforehand was similar to the Western standard American diet. The only thing that can be concluded from this study is that the diet they were put on is beneficial for them compared to the diet they were on before.
A randomized controlled study was done to look at the effects of a green tea beverage on skin health. 60 women were randomized to consume either a green tea beverage or a placebo over 12 weeks. The green tea reduced the sensitivity to the skin to UV light compared to the control group.
The things measured in this study were redness, elasticity, roughness, and density. The women who drank the tea had about 16% less redness at 6 weeks and 25% less redness at 12 weeks. Less redness doesn't mean your DNA or collagen was protected from UV radiation. It can also mean temporary vasoconstriction or water retention caused by caffeine or flavonoids in the tea. The devices used measure how the skin bounces back and reflects light, which are easily influenced by water content, temperature, or circulation, not actual collagen repair. This study included no histology, no collagen markers, no oxidative stress markers, nothing structural at all. And this study was funded by a company that sells green tea extracts. Weak study, bro. The best diet for skin health is one that's low in advanced glycation end products, doesn't cause autoimmune skin diseases like acne and eczema, high in collagen building blocks like proline, glycine, and hydroxyproline, and high in saturated fats and monounsaturated fats while being low in polyunsaturated fats. All of these things are found on a raw meat-based diet. In clinical trials, certain plant foods that he actually recommended for skin health have been shown to increase acne breakouts. For example, cocoa. I actually have a full guide on how to maximize your skin health in my private community, so if you're interested in that, go check that out. We also do discussion calls and there's active chats in the community to help you along your journey, so yeah.